right, I'm out in Canby, Oregon, and I'm with my buddy Paul, and he has his amazing coach, Dreamscape. And we're going to do a tour of this today. Now, I've known Paul online probably for about 8 years, and we've talked about getting together for a few years, and today it's actually finally happened. Paul's done a lot of work to this coach. Apologize for the noise. Paul's done a lot of work to this coach over the years, and now we're going to have him tell us about it.
Well, this is a 1968 Silver Eagle Model 1. I purchased it in 2003. It was originally owned by the Dixie Echoes Gospel Quartet out of Pensacola, Florida. And they toured the Southwest for a number of years, and then it went to a bluegrass band. And then another couple bought it and did the original motorhome type conversion back in the early 80s. And then I bought it from a fella in Shelby, Ohio. And I was living in Burbank, California at the time. I drove the bus all the way from Ohio to California and decided that I needed to gut the thing out and redo it. So it's been a work in progress for about almost 17 years.
Very nice. Let's take a look inside.
Come on in.
This is a very nice coach. It's got the Route 66 decor going on here. Let's start with the driver's area.
Well, the cockpit area is something that I transformed about 5 years ago. It's an R&M dash, which was made by R&M Fiberglass in Turner, Oregon. They do not make any bus conversion fiberglass pieces any longer. And you notice it does have a tilt telescopic power steering, which I added to the coach about 3 years ago when I installed a Detroit 8V92 turbo 475 horse silver. The transmission is an Allison 740. Shifting is done by Stone Bennett, which is electric over air. It does have Bendix cruise control and an HWH hydraulic leveling system. Originally it came with a 4-speed manual transmission. I put an automatic in, and it had, of course, manual steering, which it now has power steering.
What is the function of this here?
That basically tells me that all 4 of the jacks are up or down.
That's important.
All those LEDs will light up according to however the jack is placed.
I see your Jake switch there. Does that power mirrors there?
No, that's the spotlight that's up on top of the coach in the front.
Okay.
That's a VIP steering wheel, which is mated to the Freightliner telescopic steering. And of course, I have to have a rear view monitor. It is black and white. It's been in the bus for about 15 years. Works great. The camera has a receiver on it, so it's voice. You can hear what somebody's saying in the back, and of course I can keep track of the toad.
Well, I see some indirect lighting, and I see some LEDs up there.
Yeah, I just installed the LEDs up above and then also behind the valance on both sides. It used to have fluorescent lighting in it, and I went with LEDs to cut down the power usage, because eventually I'm going to be adding an inverter and batteries for the house. So I'm trying to convert everything over to LED.
Mm-hmm. And this material you're using here, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just plastic that they make to look like the old tin that they used to put in buildings back in the early 1900s.
Yep. Yep. So you got a couple easy chairs here, a couple little side tables here, which is nice. You want to take us on back?
Yeah.
Let's see a fireplace.
Originally, this coach was a side aisle as far as the layout's concerned, and I decided to go from a side aisle to a center aisle. You know, a lot of cabinet storage. I lived in this bus for about 9 years, so I needed a lot of storage.
That's great. When in doubt, mumble.
When in doubt, mumble. I've done some mumbling in my time.
Electric cooktop.
Yeah, it's electric. Works great. Just a 2-hob cooktop. And I added a FlowJet freshwater drinking system just about a week ago. And it pumps water out of 2 5-gallon containers down in the bay that we'll see a little bit later on. And it just pumps it right up into here. So it's all fresh RO water.
That's a nice addition. So you're not buying that. You're doing RO into the 5-gallon jugs and then out from there?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Just go down to Walmart or any place that fills them up and just take that 5-gallon jug in there and fill it full of water.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you had an RO system.
No.
That's okay. All right.
No. And this is what I call the toaster garage. Something that I had a bunch of dead air space back here, so I thought, well, I'll go ahead and put that in, and that way the counter space is freed up.
So the cabinetry is really nice. Did you do all this cabinet work yourself?
I did all the uppers. The only cabinets that I bought was the lower bases. I bought from Home Depot many years ago, and then I built everything else. And it has a Whirlpool house apartment-sized refrigerator, so it's electric. And it's been in operation for about 10 years now, and it works just fine. This is a pantry that I installed. So we pull out drawers so we can access everything fairly easily.
Nice. Next to the fridge, good place for that.
Yeah. And then this door, I have a sliding pocket door so that we can close off the bathroom and the bedroom in case somebody wants some privacy.
Microwave, fantastic fan.
Now this is the reason why I wanted to do a center aisle was because I wanted a place for hanging clothes and a closet area. Bought this washer and dryer, which is made by Asco out of Sweden. Very high end, very efficient. It's 240 volt, which is no problem in wiring that up to the main panel. The good feature about this washer and dryer is that I only had to plumb for the cold water because the washer has its own heating element.
Wow.
And it also plugs into the back of the dryer, so you only have one receptacle, which is a 30 amp dryer type plug. You can stack them. They do make a kit so that you can stack them, and I chose to do all in one level.
That's pretty nice. Fancy. I've never seen those before. They look European.
Yeah, very, very high end, stainless steel drum. Both of them very quiet, very efficient.
Yeah.
You can get a good sized load in there. The smaller units like Splendid, they're okay, they're good units, but the drums are a lot smaller. This one here, you can wash and dry a fairly regular sized load of clothes.
Got a corner sink.
Yep.
Corner shower.
Actually, the corner sink and the cabinet was the only thing I kept Oh, and the shower base was the only thing I kept from the original conversion. Everything else has been built in. And because of the area behind the mirrors in the bathroom, I put in some storage for towels and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
To use up every square inch of space that we can find. The shower is just a regular neo-angle shower, and I added all the tile on the inside. Just recently purchased this shower head from I can't remember the name of the outfit now, but it's for coaches really, and it's a very puts out a lot of pressure.
I bought one of those in Quartzsite last January. A little different than that, but it makes all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You get a nice full shower out of an RV.
Yeah.
Proper, good quality RV shower head.
And then I added on the outside wall of the shower, I added a medicine cabinet, both upper and lower. And these doors came off of a Norcold RV fridge that I had, but it died, and so I took the panels off of it and decided to
that worked out.
Make a couple doors.
And the master bedroom.
Master bedroom. Some unique features of this. Behind the TV, I've got storage, extra storage also for pillows and whatnot, but able to access the electrical.
Cool.
And then in the back wall, this is all, I built all of this custom built framing out of red oak. Everything I used red oak from Lowe's. And it's all cabinet storage, so I've got areas on both sides of the bed for storage. It is a queen size bed, and it does lift up because I have storage back up underneath. I also have a fan in here.
All those curves and angles and routed corners there, that's very nice craftsmanship. The way you got that in there.
It was a fun build.
A lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work.
A lot of work.
And then if you want to come around here, you can see that we have a TV in here plus a lot of storage. VCR, and we have a dish receiver system, satellite.
Corner cabinet. And you've continued the ceiling treatment, which is nice. I like that.
Yeah, it's a little different than the living room or the lounge area. This does not have any of the black. It's just a straight silver. It's just a plastic that we just use contact cement to glue it up.
Simple is good.
And it helps reflecting the light too.
So what are you doing for heating system and power?
It's all electric. So if we're in a climate where we need heat, we have an electric fireplace heater in the living room, and then I have some space heaters too. Of course, we've got 3 rooftop air conditioning units that has heat, but they only really take the chill off.
Yeah, they're kind of piddly, aren't they? Oh, you got 3, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, the front 2 are very old. They were in the bus when I bought it. I replaced the bedroom about 5-6 years ago now. And you could hang meat in there. It gets that cold. It's that cold.
I like this. Is this an eagle here?
Yeah, that's an eagle. I bought that in Ensenada, Mexico. It's made out of ironwood. Very heavy.
Oh, it is. That's surprising how heavy that is.
So he's my buddy. I call him Fred.
Fred, the eagle. So you've got electric heat and 3 roof airs to keep you cool. Now, are you running an inverter or anything like that?
Not yet. I've got 2 inverters. I just have not had the time or energy to install them yet. That's one of my next projects.
Your lighting is it's all DC. It's all DC lighting, 12 volt. Yeah, this is nice craftsmanship up here. This is a complicated area to get the cabinets worked in here, and done a nice job there. The curtains are all very nice.
Eventually, they will get replaced with day-night roll-up shades, but I've had other projects that were more important.
And you've got the roll-up shades in the front.
Yes.
Here. Nice. All right, so I always like to cover the bays in my videos. That's an important part of doing a conversion. That's what you got going on down below.
Originally, this first bay was held the generator fuel tank for the old generator, but when I pulled it out, I decided to put a small refrigerator and an ice maker in the first bay here, and then I added storage for. We just recently bought an outdoor grill, or I guess an outdoor fire pit, propane fire pit, and we do cooking with small Weber grill.
That's what I got.
And they work great.
Yep.
They work fantastic.
They don't take a lot of room. And what's that guy up there? I'm curious. Is that a...
That is a fire pit.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's a fire pit. Just bought it recently, tried it out, made sure it worked, and it worked great. Puts up about a flame about 3 feet tall if you really want it that tall.
Is that a central vacuum?
That is a vacuum system Bissell, a garage vac. It's a wet or dry. And I have it hosed up underneath the refrigerator. The hose is coiled up there, and we can vacuum from the front of the bus to the back of the bus on the inside. And behind that is an electric water heater, 19-gallon water heater. I don't know if you can see it back there.
Oh, I can see a little bit of it.
Yeah, just a
Right
household water heater. And the next bay is the black and gray combined mixed tank. That's a brand new freshwater tank. The 100-gallon black and gray mixed tank is an old round aluminum fuel tank from a diesel truck that has been in here ever since I bought it. I've just never, it's worked all this time, and it's one of those things that you think you'll get to later on.
I see
to make it more efficient.
Electrical panels here, so you're obviously 50 amp short cord with the 220.
Yep. And this is the original location. I decided not to move it. Too much to change out, and so I just went ahead and left it there, and then added the circuit breaker down there for the washer and dryer.
Fuel tank.
And then we have a 140-gallon fuel tank. This is where they put them in a Model 1. And I plumbed up here for the generator, which we'll show you in a minute, the pickup and return lines, plumb that into the main tank.
And that was kind of an interesting project. We were talking about that earlier, and I asked you how you managed to get those holes drilled and pickup tubes down in there. And
well, very interesting way that I went about and did that, because I could not get a drill in this area right here to drill the necessary holes in preparation for the pickup and return. I cut a hole in the floor underneath the dryer and was able to be directly over the tank to drill all the holes, and I just used pipe flanges. Got this idea from Pearlie Benson, who did his coach that way, and I used a step bit and some grease to keep all the shavings from getting down inside the tank, and sealed up the pipe flanges with RTV sealant, and used flexible rubber lines to copper lines that go all the way back to the generator. Just installed this generator a couple weeks ago. It's a 13 kW made by Ryco out of Eugene. Very well built, very well designed. They have great service at Ryco. Very good people to deal with. So I had to have a little bit of help, and I had some questions, and they sent me everything I needed. This was the bay that used to have the original coach air system in it, but it had been removed prior to my ownership, and this is where I decided to put the generator.
That's a real nice generator.
It's very quiet, very efficient. About 3 years ago, I met a fellow down at Quartzsite, and he had an '01 Eagle that had a Detroit 8V92 silver, 475 horsepower engine that had about 2,000 miles on a complete rebuild. So it's got a lot of new stuff in it, new radiator, and so I made the swap. I had to modify the upper area for the turbo because I couldn't slide it in, and I did not want to remove the turbo. So I modified it and cut it in so that I could just slide the whole engine in and out if I need to.
You can access that from under your bed?
Yes.
Nice.
The bed has a hydraulic lift system so that the bed lifts up, stays up, and then I just pull the doghouse out from the cover over the engine to do any necessary work that I need to do.
So I recall several years ago you did this swap yourself. I think you were doing it out in the desert in Bend. Is that right?
No, this swap here was done just down below Virginia City and Silver City, Nevada.
Was that the one before this?
That was this one.
No, the one that you did in Bend? What am I thinking of?
No, the first swap I did with an 8V71 I did up in Vancouver, Washington.
Okay.
So this is the third engine I've had in a coach, and it's my last one.
Should outlive you.
Oh yeah. No, it's in great shape. Plenty of power.
What was it you were doing in Bend? Maybe you were painting it. Was that it?
No, I just did the roof coat, upper roof coat, and then I went around and added white nude to all the silver siding too. I was staying over at my brother's place in Bend at that time.
So your buddy's got an interesting little thing hiding over here.
A little project, a friend of mine that this is his property.
There's a 8V71.
8V71.
Sitting on a bus cradle there. Kind of an interesting configuration there. All right.
One thing I do want to mention too, in my YouTube channel, I have a video describing what I did to brighten up the lights on the back of the coach and also the toe. And I installed a relay system up here that I found online. There's 4 relays up there, and I've got direct power coming from the alternator, so I've got about 13 volts coming to it, and everything is a lot brighter.
Just gets them a little more direct path to the juice.
Yep.
Well, over the years, you've done a lot of work to this coach. I mean, you converted the inside. You've replaced the engine twice.
Yes, twice.
You painted the outside.
Yes.
You put in a generator. A lot of work. You've probably forgotten more than most of us know currently. So. And you've got.
It's one of those love-hate relationships. When you start a project, at least with me, you like to see it through and make it better as you go.
Yep. I like to say it's like having a classic car and an old house rolled into one.
Yep. If you don't like your neighbors, you just move. Well, on this side, you'll see the battery bay. It's got 2 fairly new 8Ds in it now. A lot of this is going to get changed, I hope, eventually, but for right now, it is what it is.
Electrical work's kind of my specialty. I tend to do a bit more of that than some people.
Yeah,
Because I'm
yeah.
kind of a nerd like that. So those are your start batteries. Now, do you have coach batteries?
I do not right now, no.
Just run them off the same.
Well, right now I don't run anything. I don't have the inverter wired up or anything like that. That's a project that, in fact, leaving tomorrow for a trip for about 6 months. Going to be heading back to Eagle Bus Rally in Kansas, and then one in Branson, Missouri. So hopefully over the next 6 months I can get the inverter installed and batteries and get everything wired up.
So you got a couple. This is your plumbing bay here. You got a couple pumps in there.
Yeah, I've got one pump for the house and one pump for the outside.
For the outside.
Yeah, so that I can have water. I just used an old shower head right here.
Ah, okay.
Instead, I eventually would like to put a sink in, but for right now, that's how I can access water from the outside when we're boondocking.
Did you say you have combined gray-black?
Combined gray-black, yes. You know, it's really a personal choice. A lot of people will have a separate black tank, a separate gray water tank, but then you have to be able to flush out your black tank. This way here, when you combine your gray water into the black, it really empties out fairly clean. You don't have to worry about the solids building up or anything like that. I like it, and I've also have a valve there that if I'm out in the desert somewhere, if I'm able to run gray water out on the ground, I can do that too.
Just bypass it altogether.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep. That's clever.
Next bay is just basically parts, tools, anything I need to fix anything. I always try and carry spare parts with me, what I can. This is that freshwater system here, and you can see the pump up there. It's a regular 110, but it'll pump that fresh drinking water all the way up to the kitchen sink, so we don't have to buy bottles of water anymore.
You want to tell us a bit about how you painted the coach?
I painted the coach in 2004 in Abilene, Texas, outside. It took me about 6 months really to get everything prepped and ready to spray. I decided to use the red and the blue color metallic on the banding, and then just paint the coach white. It's a Chevrolet color. It was about 100 degrees when I finished painting it.
Yeah.
Very hard to see. After I shot the first coat over primer, I could see everything real well, but the second coat was very difficult to see. It was just so bright.
So it's did you use a epoxy primer?
I used epoxy primer and a PP&G all-in-one basically. There's
single stage?
Yeah, single stage. I did not go with the base coat clear coat, and it's really held up well over 6 years now.
And the primer is a two-part epoxy primer. Yeah, that's amazing stuff.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Well, that is the same way that I did the roof on my old coach. Was epoxy primer and a single stage PPG white.
Yeah, that's good
just
stuff.
Just like this. Yep.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, and speaking about the roof, I back in 2004, right after I bought the bus, I decided to use a white elastomeric roof coating made by Henry's. I painted the center section of the roof up above, and it held up real well. In fact, I just added a second coat about 4 years ago now, and it leaves a nice surface to walk on. It's not rough, but yet it is a little bumpy. So if it's wet up there, you're still able to walk around and have good traction. And it also helped keep the coach cool in hot weather. And I just recently, last week, added 2 Zip D awnings to the bedroom windows too, and that's going to help a lot in the summertime.
All right. Well, I appreciate you showing her to us.
Well, you're
It's
welcome.
good to
Glad you
finally-
could stop by and visit.
Good to finally do this after all these years. Thanks, Paul.
You bet. Thank you, Scott.